Hi everyone, I'm Paul, co-founder of Submer, and welcome to Mobile World Congress Barcelona, live here. Basically, we are now attending this event post-pandemic, and we are very excited and happy to be here. It's been a while that we are not able to do these physical events, and we are excited to be able to share with you that experience. As you can see, a substantial amount of people and very exciting companies. And the idea is that we have a small show here with some of our portfolio solutions, some of our partners, some of our team members that we flew from all over the world to be here in person. And that's what we also were missing a lot, this interaction with people. As you know, at Submer, what we do is making data centers that make more sense, data centers that are more sustainable, more powerful, more efficient, more intelligent. Also edge computing, very relevant in that event. So what we've been able to do with that is converging all these people, all these use cases from the industry in this small booth here, where we have these different elements that allows us to showcase how we not only interact with our technology and so on, but how this has an interface with the rest of the industry and the partner ecosystem that we build and so on. So we are very happy to show you here a little bit more. We have Gloria waiting me in the booth. I will try to go with her so that she can explain a little bit more about this preparation that we did with the team. A lot of hard work, I imagine. So, hi Gloria.
Hi Paul.
Nice to see you physically. And we wanted to share this experience with you guys. So, how are you, Gloria?
I'm good. I'm super happy to be here. How are you? How was the walk around the booth and the halls and everything?
So, yeah, it's been a little bit strange for us to be interacting with so many people physically, but this is what is exciting about our technology. Whenever our people, our basically team faces people operating and touching our systems and so on, it's very exciting because we see faces, we see how they, not only what they say about what we do, but actually how they interact with it. And it's very interesting to see how they understand much quicker what we do, and this practicality of the systems that we are developing, and also the exciting moment when you touch the fluid and so on. These kind of things are things that over calls, it's a little bit difficult. But yeah, very happy to be here and do so. And a lot of things have changed since we did the summer experience during the beginning of the year. A lot of things. We will talk about that probably during the presentation, but just some highlights under the market perspective. There's been all this momentum in the market, not only because as a technology and so on, we are able to save this electrical consumption, this water, all this massive water consumption from the data center industry and so on, also the flexibility and location, all those things that make sense for our current customers and under the perspective of total cost of ownership. But what we've seen recently is this momentum around this race from semiconductor companies moving towards densities and all this, for instance, the paper from the ASHRAE talking about the emergence and expansion of liquid cooling in mainstream data centers. These things are fueling our pipeline because we are not only compelling under the TCO perspective, but also we are something necessary for being future-proof. And that's very, very exciting. And also this helped us a lot in this ecosystem of partnerships that we created. So we have here some of the demonstrations of this common collaboration with OEMs and so on. But our partnership landscape has grown from many different angles, all these distributorship agreements, worldwide distributors from Europe, US, EMEA, Asia and so on in general, but in the end we have a portfolio of partners that can support us in our journey for basically capturing all these different use cases. Also in the use case perspective, we have all these different use cases that we can show in some of these pictures. So we have some of these pictures spread throughout our booth so that people that is coming here can match their experience and what they see in the other booths and how this map with our technology. And it's very exciting because it's very, very, I would say it's a perfect fit for the different use cases. All this with the landscape of OEMs. We have Fujitsu, Lenovo, others. In the end, we have many partners here, and Gloria will talk about the companies that are collaborating with us in this booth. We have some logos here and over there. and also from the low-level semiconductor companies. So this, as a company, is very, we are very happy to see this from crossing the desert a few years ago to actually having this massive landscape of partners all over the world. No? So yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Gloria, and for preparing all this, because I'm sure that it has been probably very difficult and a lot of work for you and the team.
But it was fun. It was super fun. Of course, it was a last-minute thing, but super happy to be here, all of us. A huge team effort, like all Submer team, and we even have some of our sales colleagues coming from all over parts of the globe. Super happy to have them here. That in another kind of occasion it would be impossible. So super happy to post-COVID situation be all of us here together. And of course, one of the challenges was to manage the last-minute mobile thing. But yeah, it was super happy also to bring this concept that you can see behind me. That is our booth, our container booth. One of our values, of course, is the modularity, but of course the reuse of everything. We always try to use materials that are not going to, after the use, being a waste. It's always the circular economy concept, not just in the technology, but in our way of life, in our way of work, in everything that we represent. And that's why we choose this container, as you can see behind me, as the booth. So we don't have to build every year and after a few days waste it or maybe reuse it in some part. We use it every time we can. We just used it already a few times in GITEX 1 year, I think.
Yeah, we've been using it in several events, and it somehow showcases the modularity of the technology. So it's also helpful under the business perspective because it helps with our pitch, you know?
Yeah, that's true. And also now I think this year fits even more because we just launched our last product, the MicroPod, and of course it's a container by itself. As you can see, it's a 800 kilowatt container of a data center.
I think we can get up to a 1 megawatt already.
Yeah,
this is not news, but we can get 1 megawatt in one shipping container. Yeah.
Joan just told me that. I thought it was a secret. So basically, this represents this. We have our SmartPod XL that we'll see later. It's really connected to a chiller that is above the container. And we also have 2 MicroPods that are also working. And then we have another MicroPod on the ceiling of the container that more or less showcase the exterior component of the product. So it's really nice. I mean, there's a lot of people coming just because of the booth, but because of the technology. And of course, I also think that Paul is right when he says the excitement and feeling that people has when they see the technology, when they touch the fluid, or when they say, oh, they are like a bit scary of you touching the liquid. But it's true that I think the believers of Submer turn into believers when they see the technology live, not just in a screen. So we thought, well, let's bring the mobile to all these people that couldn't be here so they can experiment somehow what we're feeling here. So thank you very much for coming, first of all, for all the attendees. And now I'm going to explain a little bit all the agenda. That it's going to be, well, this super nice introduction with Paul. And then after, we're going to be seeing a super fight, a super battle between the SmartPod and between the MicroPod by the hands of Dani and Bertil. After that, we'll be seeing how to migrate to an immersion cooling data center with Justin, here in this very same table, with an easy few steps of how to do this process. And to finish, we'll be seeing the channel ecosystem with Bea and Adrian that will be interviewing some of the partners that are here with us today. I know that a lot of partners couldn't be here and a lot of them collaborate with us. There's a lot of logos, applications, use cases inside of the pods with real use cases behind it. But today, not everybody could be here, but a few of them are here with us and they wanted to participate in this live webinar. So they're going to be, Bea and Adrian are going to be interviewing IT Renew, Infoburst, and also Telnex. In fact, I think we're also going to the Telnex booth that is just in front of us to see what they have to say to us in this webinar. And I think more or less that's all. Do you want to tell me how you feel about this, or
No,
anything
that
else
sounds
to
like
add?
a plan. Looking forward to it. I like this basically approach where we are reusing things and so on. As you know, in our DNA is this sustainability aspect, but also the reusage of heat is something that we want to empower more and more. And also the reusage, of course, of components like the booth itself. So seeing this fractal deployment from the MicroPod to the SmartPod to the MegaPod, it's very cool, and I'm sure that you have great demonstrations. And yeah, I leave it to you. Thank you very much, Gloria.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Then also to mention, so I don't forget, that you can ask any question at all at any time you want in the chat. We'll be reading at the end of the agenda some of the questions there and answering them. Not all of them, because we have just a few minutes, but even though after that will be answered to each one of you publicly into the same link or contacting you. So please ask your questions, and we're going to continue with Bertil and Dani that should be ready. Yeah, they will be coming to the booth really soon, to the MicroPod and to the SmartPod. So we're going to wait for them.
Hi there, Bertil.
Hey Daniel, how are you doing?
Invite
mate?
Gloria over, yeah?
Yeah, she's always late, but hey.
Gloria, please join
Yeah,
us.
sorry, took me somewhere. Hey, how are you?
Hey Gloria, thank you for asking. I'm doing fine.
Are
Great to be
you-
here on the Mobile World Congress.
Are you ready for the fight, for the battle?
Let's go for it. Let's do this. Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
so we have whites against blacks, blacks against whites. MicroPod versus SmartPod. Let's see which are the difference, which are the main uses, everything. So let's start with a little bit of introduction of each one. Whites. What about the MicroPod?
MicroPod, unique device for outdoor usage.
Okay, perfect. Now intro about the SmartPod.
The SmartPod is what you see here, a big tank which is used for single-phase immersion cooling. That's what it is.
Okay, let's go about what's the best application. Danny again.
White space, traditional data center, and hyperscale deployments.
Okay, an application.
The best application is of course the application which makes the customer happy, and we will help the customer to be successful with immersion cooling, outdoors, indoors, on the edge, at the edge. We don't mind as long as we can make good projects.
Okay, I think someone is winning the fight, Danny?
Right.
Okay, then density and capacity.
The SmartPod is designed for between 50 and 100 kilowatts of IT load. We can do way more with chilled water, of course, but the whole sustainability story doesn't make so much sense in that case. 45 U's of IT equipment in this horizontal tank.
That's it?
Is that all? Is that all you can bring on?
Okay, density and capacity of the whites.
Density and capacity. Well, the capacity is 6 units, so 6 servers can easily fit in, but more important, it's a 6.5 kilo, 7.5 kilowatts, depending a little bit on the outside temperature, outside usage, inside usage, but more important, dust-free, sustainable fluid, no water usage, and a constant temperature cooled against ambient air. So all the benefits for a whole data center, but then in a mini data center, usage outside.
But it looks more like a dishwasher to me.
Hey, but this is a very sophisticated data center in a box, which you never find anywhere else than at Submer. So it's a unique product for the telecom industry, for the edge users in large factories or in remote areas. We even had a question from a military organization to jump it from an airplane to land it in a rural area. I don't see that happening with your big beast.
I just hope my one doesn't land on me when they shoot it from an airplane.
I hope so not.
Okay, a lot of questions answered that. Okay, the weight.
So this system, fully populated with IT equipment, fluid, the tank is around 1,800 kilos. That's way less than what any raised floor in any data center can support, so you can deploy it right next to your racks. No challenges from that point of view.
Okay, the weight of the MicroPod.
Well, the MicroPod is less than 300 kilos, depends a little bit on the IT equipment you load into it, but it's designed to be built on a rooftop, so the 300 kilos is probably the maximum, and it's extendable, so we have multiple options to create modules out of this beautiful device. It's small, it's tiny, but it's powerful.
Okay, yeah, this looks like more of a pocket thing than this, but it's okay on
It
a
weighs
weight.
a little bit less than Bertil, just a tiny little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm gaining kilos because I have a good marriage, and every man gains a kilo per year
Happiness.
in a good marriage. So you can see how long I'm married.
Customers, I hope the customers they don't have the same challenge if they're happy with their MicroPod though.
Correct. But if they want to move the hardware, and this is serious, guys, if you want to move your hardware from the MicroPod to the SmartPod XL, that's a piece of cake because it's the same technology used in a different way.
Okay, yeah, different package, that's all.
Absolutely.
Okay, then the TCO of the weights.
Well, TCO depends a lot on your use case. It's a unique experience, so you need to have a comparison if you want to have a TCO, and I don't think there is a comparison at the moment. So it is a great total cost of ownership if you compare to the solution you want to create. So we solve the pain at a reasonable cost.
Okay, TCO explanation. What can you do with your TCO
I
explanation?
would say that at least a 40% reduction is expected in OPEX costs over an MPV of 15 years. So the savings are humongous compared to traditional data center infrastructure deployments.
Okay, sustainability.
Sustainability, so dielectric, biodegradable fluid. It's absolutely innocuous to humans, in the worst case scenario if it were to be released. It's also, as I mentioned, biodegradable, so no challenges there. The PUE, the 1.03 PUE for a traditional system really means that it's quite hard to cool more efficiently than with immersion. And then the whole enabling of this heat reuse, heat capture and heat reuse in the data center industry, but we truly believe it's going to be one of the key drivers moving forward, a whole new revenue stream for the data center industry.
Okay, very green, even though it's colorless. Okay, what's going on with your sustainability part?
Well, the sustainability is of course the same fluid we're using as in the larger tank, so in the mother flagship tank. We're not using any water, so we cool against ambient air. For the rest, the materials used are reusable materials like we have here, so a pretty sustainable environment. The heat reuse is difficult with this kind of devices.
Okay, vale. And then I'm gonna do a surprise quiz, super quick, that it's basically define me in just one word, what's the SmartPod?
Silent.
MicroPod.
Whoa, unique.
Okay, not bad, not bad. I know you weren't ready for this, so not bad. Super difficult to see who wins this, so we're gonna let the chat of the webinar, let's decide. MicroPod versus SmartPod, do your bets. And of course, for me, from my side, I have to say a draw because I can pick a side. So, well, I will say that we'll finish this part, and I will go to see how Justin is doing, so we can see how we can migrate to a immersion cooled data center. So
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Gloria.
guys.
See you
Bye.
later.
Hi, Justin.
Hello, Gloria.
How are you?
Doing great, thank you.
Okay, I think you changed a little bit my scenario here, but I'm comfortable with this too. Okay, what can you tell me about data centers that are thinking about migrate to immersion cooling?
Yeah, so this is a little demonstration of what we see with a lot of our customers, specifically in places where they're already co-locating or hosting with air. I will say that there are advantages with cost-effective new construction by not having raised floor, but since we're talking about people getting into immersion, a lot of them have raised floors, and as Danny mentioned, our pods are very happy to live next to conventional air on raised floors. So
like a hybrid environment.
yeah, so we'll go through an example here of what a lot of times we see in a data center. So in this case, we have a really awesome 3D printout of 16 air-cooled racks, and we see densities usually around 10 kilowatts per rack.
Okay.
And what's happening in the industry is as things get hotter, the rack density is getting less and less and less as far as how many servers and storage is going in the rack. So it's going to be a big issue going forward where right now maybe you have 50% full. As you get more dense hardware, you might see 25% full. That's just a lot of wasted space in an air-cooled rack. So this whole block, if we consider it 10 kilowatts per rack, you're looking at about 160 kilowatts in, I'd say, a 6+ tile footprint.
Okay.
Because you also have your crack units and other things here as well. If you wanted to start going down the path of immersion, it's really quite easy. And to give an example of the footprint that we're talking about, we go from 6 tiles to 1, 2 of our SmartPod XL+, each of those with 100 kilowatts of cooling. So in 1 floor tile with 2 tanks, we can actually do more cooling than an entire row, 2 rows with hot aisle, cold aisle containment in an air-cooled environment.
Wow, that's a huge difference, right? Okay, and what would be the first recommendation for someone that is now thinking about doing the change?
Yeah, so there's a lot of data centers actually that are very welcoming to water. We have one project that we're actively working with, QTS Data Center. It is historically 100% air-cooled data center. A customer need had dictated that they need immersion pods. And it was really a simple step, half-day implementation. And it's really more simple than people might think. So while you have air conditioning and raised floor and piping for air, really we have chilled water going in, hot water going out. It's a really 2 pipes in and out, and they were really pleased to help us with that implementation. In a data center, historically only air chilled.
So it's like a pipe work and
yeah, so pipe in, pipe out, chiller outside. They already had access to chilled water, so it was very seamless and a nice process.
a quick thing just for this huge improvement, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, and well, do you want to mention any partners or someone that are we working with right now and maybe couldn't be here because it was so short notice that at the end we couldn't?
Absolutely, yeah. So what goes in the tank and to reach those densities and to help people match their business needs is obviously important. So a lot of great partners out there. For example, Hypertech has servers that are immersion ready for the financial sector.
Yeah, we have some of them here, I think.
Absolutely,
actually, yeah.
They were kind enough to air freight express for our short lead time here for MWC. ASA and oil and gas and many others that are immersion ready in a turnkey process to make it really easy for adoption.
Great. Well, did we mention more or less everything?
I think we're good.
Okay. So now that we were mentioning the Hypertech and some other partners, I think we can go telling Bea and Adrian to get ready for the channel ecosystem explanation. So let's call them so they can come to the stage and explain this channel ecosystem to all of us.
2, go. All right. Uh-huh.
So Adrian, time for the channel ecosystem.
Hey, welcome Bea.
Yeah, we have the dream team here. So Adrian, Whelan, and myself, Beatriz, Bardisa. So our main goal is to understand how can we support your business, invest in your company journey, and look for opportunities to make your infrastructure and IT investment a great success. Also, Adrian, let us know about the channel programs and the value of them.
Cool. Yes, Bear. So, yeah, we have fundamentally 4 pillars to our programs. The first one is what we call resellers and distributors, which is focused around system integrators and distributors in countries or deploying IT systems inside our SmartPods. Second program is more product specific. So it's looking at products such as our beautiful MicroPod to the left of me, which is our edge product, or companies deploying modular data centers. The third one is our ambassador model, which is primarily focused on consultants or influencers in the industry that would like to get involved in working with the technology. And then the final one, the fun one, as I say, is companies that are deploying new sustainability innovation products in the marketplace, such as heat reuse, reuse of IT hardware, etc. So that's our 4 pillars.
Yeah, sounds great, doesn't it? So you have talked about sustainability, and we have here in our booth our partner, IT Renew. So Bruno, come with us, please. How are you?
Hi, Beatriz.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
Welcome, Bruno.
Hi, Adrian.
So, based on the sustainability, let us know about your business model. Let us know about IT Renew.
All right. So I would say that after about 20 years working with the hyperscalers, mostly in US, but now also in Europe, I would say that I'm happy to see that we've succeeded in transforming the linear business model that we all see for the data infrastructure, for the data center infrastructure in the world, and then we moved it into, we transformed it into a circular business model. So in more pragmatic or clear sense, let's say that, and because of the open hardware technology we're using here that are immersed in your nice system, by the way, we can design and deploy rack scale solutions for large corporations, but also cloud providers, in using not only new components coming from the last innovations and creations, but also from decommissioned assets we get from these given hyperscalers. So behind that, the benefit is that we significantly decrease the CO2 cost for all these companies. That definitely there will be challenge on that in the near future. And for examples that we could see that in general we can decrease by 75% the CO2. And apart from that, given taking the best of breed, and I take the opportunity to say that I'm happy about the announcement we made that we partner now with the integration of our technology we're doing here, then we can, with our solutions immersed in your pods, then we can reach up to a decrease of 30-35% in power consumptions. We decrease by 50% the TCO compared to standard rack OEM stuff. So all these together, I think, shows or draws the future of the IT infrastructure that we will have to see if we want to keep our planet safe and green. So I also want to conclude this quick introduction. I would like to say that the business model we've created in providing sustainability approach and design for this IT world, we bring at the same time an increasing in green politics while we cost less. So let's say that you've got better things at a lower cost, that I think we success in showing now that you don't have to pay more for having more sustainable solutions.
Yeah, it sounds like a partnership that makes sense. And let's talk about solutions, Adrian. And I think, Bruno, we could go to Cellnex to take a look on what they are doing. You
sure,
come with
definitely.
me?
I come with you, absolutely. Thank you.
All yours, Adrian.
Cool.
Thank you.
See you later. So while Bear's walking to Cellnex, one of the things we're now going to look at is our other partners. And some of them can't be here today, like 2CSI, Ingram, Arrow, Hypertech, Dell, Lenovo, HPE. But we do have one of our partners here, and I'd like to welcome to the stage Stefan, who's going to talk to us a little bit about what Infraburst do and how they're shaking up the market in the DACH region. So, welcome,
Hi.
Stefan.
Hi, thank you for having us. Yeah. Perfect. Again, sorry, I didn't guess the question.
Just tell the audience a little bit about the company and what you do and the...
Yeah. Okay, so Infraburst basically started 1 year ago to offer sustainable infrastructure solutions for data centers. And yeah, we basically work with partners like IT Renew, Quanta, and now as well with Submer. Yeah.
And what type of industries are you seeing taking up the technology interest?
Well, it's mainly, I would say, small, medium hosting companies, as well as telcos, everyone who's in the edge or far edge environment, but also, yeah, science and high performance clusters. We have all sorts of various clients. And basically from the high performance requirements, we actually came up with this turnkey solution, the data center in a box, where we basically have the opportunity to get really the latest and greatest in terms of hardware into a MicroPod or a smaller solution, and then add our software on top, which then enables you to roll out your cloud services or managed services even pre-installed, and even you can start building your clients after 48 hours, basically. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you, Stefan, for joining us.
Cool.
And with that, I think Bear is currently over with Cellnex, so we'd just like to say goodbye to everybody, and we'll hand over to Bear.
Right.
So thanks, what a great place for the connection. We are in Cellnex, driving telecom communications. And it's a pleasure to be with you, Raul.
You're welcome, Bear.
Yeah, super good. So let us know about 5G, tower, like the present. What is the present? What is the future? What about the density and the need of compute for 5G and for the towers? How can we support on communications?
One of the important things in 5G is connect things, connect people, create services on that connectivity. That means that you need to fuse a lot of data, you need to make a lot of decisions in a decentralized way. That means that it's needed a lot of distributed capacity to compute this data and provide it with the low latency as possible. For example, well, the great example is when you work in an autonomous car. When you move with your car, you need to have a lot of attention of all the data that is around the car. You need to fuse this data, you need to provide this data to the vehicles, and that means that the time that you have to do that is a very few time. Obviously, that means that it's necessary to compute, to process this data locally and very close to the vehicles to provide the latency that they needed. And that's a great challenge that we will have in the future with that kind of infrastructures.
Yes, that's for sure. And how Submer can partnership with you, how Submer can add value to make this happen.
The great thing for Submer and our idea of this new infrastructure is that great part of the roads needs to have this distributed capacity and computational options, okay? That means that it's necessary to have elements distributed in the road to provide the latency, the services that these kind of vehicles needed. Great part of them are outside with high temperatures, and one of the challenges that we have actually is to reduce the temperature of the cabinets where it's processed, because that reduces in the process capacity and the process speed and the process performance. With Submer solution, we hope that we will reduce this issue, and then we will have more productivity of each one of the servers in these conditions.
Yeah, sounds great. So let's keep going with our partnership, Raul.
Thank you.
Bye, thanks very much. And of course, we are going back to the booth.
Okay, thank you very much, Bea. That was really interesting. Now here we are on the last part of the session. We're gonna be reading a few questions that the team selected of the one that you've been writing on the chat. So I'm gonna just be asking you per turns or whatever. So Justin, can the heat of the servers be reused?
Absolutely, yeah. So this is one of the greenest ways to cool your IT equipment, and you add on the fact that we can actually reuse the heat for many different purposes. We have companies heating municipalities, we have companies heating greenhouses, and we've got customers that are looking to actually create power using the reused heat. So pretty great when you can have a net positive like that to help power your data center using wasted heat, the heat coming off the pods.
Do we know any cases or maybe interesting cases that we want to mention? Or?
Yeah, so a customer actively building their data center in Wyoming as part of the sustainability, giving back to the community. There's a large initiative to use that to heat greenhouses to grow food locally and sustainably. So just one example of a great project that's underway.
Okay, great. How sustainable of them. Danny, for example, is this technology related to the Microsoft latest announcement about immersion cooling?
Yeah, so we're getting that question a lot since Microsoft's white paper was recently released. So yes, Microsoft is leveraging or testing immersion cooling for their servers and data centers. The technology is quite similar. It's not identical. Microsoft is testing or has publicly announced that they're testing two-phase immersion cooling, while as this is single-phase. I was in a panel last week with Microsoft.
Actually, yes.
I would definitely recommend on data center dynamics about cooling your AI infrastructures with immersion cooling. And essentially the guy that was involved in this white paper with Microsoft was on this panel with me. I would invite everyone to listen to it because it was a great session.
Yeah, so for more information, that's always there in our webinars section or the blog. Then Bertil, what is so sustainable about the technology? I guess immersion cooling.
Yeah, well, that's a question we get quite often, of course. And the biggest sustainability component is, of course, the fluid. The fluid is a synthetic fluid which is biodegradable, non-toxic, non-corrosive, and it's actually usable in food grade certified. So you can even touch it, you can work in it with your hands, you can even drink it. It doesn't taste very well. So I'm not going to ask Danny to take a scoop.
Not again, please, not again. No, I do it every single show.
But that's
Still got a lot of hair.
Yeah, well, maybe we can find new markets for the fluid, but the fluid is super sustainable. We give it a 15-year warranty, so that should underwrite the sustainability of our fluid.
Yeah, I think so. And also, of course, what Justin was mentioning about the heat reuse, that's also a super important part of the sustainability.
And the PUE, guys, come on.
The PUE, it's true. Always with the PUE. How can I forget this?
1.03 for the full installation. There's nothing more sustainable for a data center than that kind of PUE.
That's true. Because the average is 1.67 on air cooling, right?
Yep, that's the Uptime Institute reported PUE, yep.
So this is a great question asked by the panel.
Okay. Then, Justin, is it the technology easy to deploy? Is it plug and play?
It is turnkey, but I can't believe I haven't heard about the hair growth serum of our fluid just yet. I've worked here for a long time, so I'm not super pleased about this.
You haven't been drinking it enough.
Well, there you go. So it is very, very turnkey. So we've talked a lot about our partners. They're incredibly integral to the turnkey aspect of all of our pods. So especially, you can't get much more turnkey than the MicroPod. We can ship it full of equipment, simply add power, add networking, add fluid, and you're up and running with an edge data center literally in minutes. All the way to the SmartPod, just on a larger scale, shipped full of servers that are immersion ready. This is no longer a science experiment for customers. This is a enterprise scale-out turnkey solution that we're shipping today.
And delivered through our channel partners, right?
Absolutely, through our distribution channel partners, everyone from the value-added reseller community to the people helping to build our servers that have donated and lend us servers that have shown so well during the week here. So very valuable, and that is how we're delivering our turnkey immersion solution.
Okay, that was a nice answer. Okay,
What's
then
next?
Danny, about the booth, it looks like the MegaPod. Is it the same?
It's a shipping container, so it's essentially what we leverage for the modular data center builds that we deliver today as turnkey full-scale data centers that range from the 100 kilowatts to the megawatt. So we'll be announcing an additional extension onto our modular data center designs for a 45-foot standard container with 1 megawatt of compute capacity and cooling integrated into it. So essentially it is, it's a bit like a
MegaPod.
yeah?
Yeah, I think it's actually a quite interesting question because it is. What else?
Obviously, we like the MegaPods have much more kitted out into them. This is designed to be a booth, but we would have all the electrical, fire extinguishing, railing system to be able to manipulate the servers and extract CDUs and servers very easily. Yeah, electrical distribution, as I mentioned, and comfort air conditioning in the container as well. We typically insulate them because they're deployed in pretty hot regions as well. So, but yeah, it's essentially the form factor for sure. This unit here, this is a 20-foot container. We can deploy up to 400 kilowatts in one of these systems.
This is the smallest one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In fact, the modularity approach, it has been always with us in all the products and like the agnostic approach, but also the modularity approach of everything. So we're flexible in this case.
Think big, start small, scale fast.
True. You never get tired of saying that sentence. Okay, last one, because I think we're running out of time. For Bertil, how many companies offer this solution? I guess immersion cooling solution?
Well, if we look at immersion cooling, it's less than 10 companies in the world really actively pushing the solution. If you look at the way we position it, we are unique, so we're the only ones. There's a humongous number of potential customers out there, and there's a few suppliers supplying the solution. So I urge everybody to just ask information at submer.com, and we will reach out to you to make sure that you get the quotes or the solutions you need.
Yeah, that's true. And we, of course, welcome our competitors even, because what we need is this work of education, evangelization, and, well, that society
I wouldn't call them competitors. I wouldn't call them colleagues.
Colleagues, that's true.
And together we'll...
Cool colleagues.
Yeah, cool colleagues, and together we'll support the data center environment to become more sustainable. And
the transition of data centers from being a burden to a benefit for society,
exactly,
which is the journey that we're on.
Even monetizing the reuse of heat or everything. Yeah, of course. Now we're changing a lot the rules, no, of the chessboard.
We've changed the rules by changing the medium that we've been leveraging for 40 years. So,
a nice change. Well, I think this is a nice message to close the session with. So I want to thank you all. I really appreciate that all of you being here. We all of us together, super happy and excited for mobile, and we appreciate you being here on the other side of the screen of the camera. Thank you very much, and see you soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.